Thank you. What can you guys see? Can you see the guy between the mountains? Can you guys see the guy? Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Right here. All right, technical. All right, so Bane is between. Sounds just like sun, but there's a difference. There's a letter that's in between, and that letter right there is this yod. Bane by itself is a bet, and then a noon as well, and that's for sun. But this is called Bane, and it has a yod in there, which lets us know. And all you can remember is this: if this is in between the bet and the noon, okay, then it lets you know it's between. Just an easy way to remember. It still has Bane, but if it has this yod right here in the middle, then it's between. Okay. This word is going to be used often in the Genesis account because Yah makes a difference between two things, like the day and the night, between the land and the waters. He's making a difference. He's putting things in between. Okay. Separation. Okay. And what it means is an interval of between space, okay, meaning from. It's something between. So just remember this picture. Just remember the picture of this guy just being between these two places, these two spaces. Okay. So here we go. So it says Elohim, the power of all powers, saw that the light. How do we say light?
Or.
The light existed. How do you say was or exist?
All.
Haya.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is a yod, a hey, or excuse me. I'll say my yeh. I'll put a yod before it. It's a hey, a yod, and a hey. Okay. That means to exist. Okay. 1961. Strongs. Okay. You might see some delay in everything because of the internet. Okay. So that's it. Haya. How do you say good? What's good? Starts with a T.
Tov.
Thank you. So, Tov. Why is it not writing? Tripping. All right. Well, that's okay. Let's see if we can go back. So this Tov. Okay. And then we had another word called he divided. I don't know if you guys remember divide. But what do you think about for divide? Do you guys remember what that word is? Right here. Have what? Avdil. Okay. And he divided it. And here's our word today, which is what? Bane. How do you say darkness?
Koshek.
Thank you. Okay, Koshek. So we see here that the Holy One of Israel, he, are the or, that it existed good, that it was Tov. And the power of all powers, he divided, have deal between the light from the darkness. He put that Bane, okay, which is the bet, the yod, and the noon, final noon. He put that from. So there's a different space. That's why you can say that the division that he made when he divided, he used what we would call a rev to make those divisions. So you got their rev that I showed you last week. We had a big conversation about it. One of our occultees were confused because she's been taught, a certain thing. So there's two arevs. And so Yah uses the arev to show the difference, to divide those times from each other. That's the divisions that he made. Okay. That's how you separate those two times. You separate them not magically. You separate them through what you can physically see. And so that's what he's done. Okay. Yeah, I was trying to get us away from magic and imagining things. Okay, so this is how you say it. This is how you say it in Hebrew. All right. I want you guys to take a guess and tell me what each one of these words you think means. This one right here. What do you think that means? Just take a guess. Come on, class. I know. Why do you guys are getting scared? Condra, you know what I say about making mistakes. What do I say about that?
It's okay to make them.
Yeah, because why?
We're learning.
Yeah, we're learning. So let's ask the first question. What's the first letter there? Let's do that. Let's chop it down right quick. What's the first letter that's used in this sentence from right to left? What's this first letter?
W.
Yeah. And what does the W represent? A wa. It's called a wa. What does it represent?
Represents a tent peg.
Yes. And what does a tent peg do?
It stabilizes or secures.
Yes. And so it adds things together. So when you think of its function, you would think and. So it's putting the tent, connecting the tent to the ground. It's the connector between the tent, okay, the tent rope and the ground. So it's an attachment. All right. So that's the first letter there, which is great. And I love the way that you use the English letter. Okay. What's the next letter?
Yod.
Okay. And so what do we know about the yod? What does that represent?
The hand.
Good. And who usually has a hand? How does a hand recognized as?
Whoever has the staff, the leader.
Yes. Okay. So in all cases, sometimes it's always identified as a he. Correct? He. Okay. So that's what it says. The first two letters is and he. Well, let me remind you that these letters, okay, are only used to represent the function of the Hebrew language. The Ashkenazis and the rest of the people have taken these letters and said, well, instead of us having the pictures, we're just going to replace them with these letters. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to replace the tent peg with a wa because it looks like a tent peg. We're going to change this out. It looks like a tent peg. So let's just make it like a tent peg. That's what a tent peg looks like. So we know what that is. So we'll use that as a wa, as and. Then right here, this is the yod, that means hand, right? Because when we got the hand goes like this, and then you had the little things here. It's a hand, okay? So we're going to use that, to represent the hand, okay? We're going to change the picture, hand, okay? So we're going to use that instead of using that, we're going to use this letter right here. So it means he. This right here, ra'ah. Do you guys remember what ra'ah means? Ra'ah. What was one of your words last week? Ra'ah means to see. Okay. It means to see. So if I go here, let me see. If I go here, Elohim saw. It just reversed it. And he saw. He, Elohim. Elohim saw. What did he see?
Light.
Correct. So when he saw the light, so where's the word light? Tell me the letters of light since you're looking at it. What are the letters in this first line? What's the letters of light?
Aleph.
Hey, Aleph, Wa, and Resh. Ha, or. Or is light. Ha is the. And all this two letters right here is the Aleph in the top is a object marker. It's just an arrow pointing to what he, Elohim, has what? Seen. Okay. What he has seen. So what did he see? He saw that the arrow marker of the light is kitov. Okay. Kitov. That or which is good. That's good. Tov. Here's your T. This is your O, and that's your V. Okay. So what you got to do is get your mind to start thinking in this direction. We're used to seeing things from this direction, Bereshith. Okay. But in Hebrew, you go from this direction. What it is you break down the puzzle. So if you know the word Ra'ah, when you see this, you'd be like, oh, that's seen. And then he saw. Who? Elohim. What did he see? He saw the what? The Ha'or, the light. And then I know what this is. That's good. I know what ki is, that or which. Okay. And then, so if the y the y yar here is that, then what is this? Is a y again? And what does wa mean? What is a wa? What does it mean from a grammatical standpoint? Why did they change and put a tent peg, and instead of a tent peg, what word are you using instead of wa? What English word as a conjunction?
And
And here's the yod again. And what?
he.
And he. Okay. And then we have Vadel. So we know from our Hebrew that Havdel, which we didn't get into the other aspects of grammar, that tells us right here is a clue. Vadel, it means divided. Okay. He divided. I'm sorry for my handwriting. He divided Elohim. So the one who's doing the dividing is the yod, he, here, Elohim. Okay. Because in Hebrew, the verb comes before the noun. It always precedes it. So the verb is going to tell you, okay, who's doing the verb? I mean, who's doing the action? And since it's a yod right here, it's letting us know that he did the action. And who's the he? Who is the subject? The subject of this verb is Elohim. The he is in singular, not plural. So a lot of people say, oh, the angels, Elohim, because here's the im on it, many gods, plurality. No, it tells you right here that he. So even though you might have Elohim, plural, Elohim, plural, what makes it plural? This yod and this mem right here. It's always going to be singular or plural on any word. That's what it's always going to be. It's going to be a first person, second person, third person. That's all you have to remember. Either it's going to be a masculine or it's going to be feminine. Okay. Or common, meaning both at the same time. That's all you're going to see. So your verbs are going to be done by either a first person, second person, third person. Then you're going to find out, is it a masculine and feminine? Or if it's common. That's it. And then you're also going to find, is this masculine person? Is this a singular masculine person? Or is this a plural masculine person? And the verb will tell you who it is. So when I look at this, I'm not just saying, well, I know how to read. What I'm doing is I'm doing a diagnostic. I'm saying, oh, that's An, that's he, that's C, that's Elohim, that's El. Okay, there's the power. And then the mightiness of the power, but I know that the verb is telling me that it's singular. And then I said, oh, this is an arrow, and this is and this is light. And then this over here means that. because I memorized it. And this tov means good. So I know that. So far I got, and he see, meaning he saw who? Elohim, that the light, got to put this in there, is for, translational purposes, that the light was, that is good. And he divided. Talking about the same one divided. Who divided? The Elohim. Is he singular or plural? Oh, it's he, singular. Oh, he divided. And then I got my word now that I learned vain. That means between. The man between those two places. He divided between the ha or, which is the light. Ha is the, and or is light. And then what else we have? And between, because there's our word again. The ha, I know that's the, and then koshek is darkness. See? So once you learn the names, that's why I'm teaching you the actual roots. Okay. And let me tell you something, roots can change. They could draw, a letter can drop off of them. They could be replaced with another letter. They could be made into feminine. There's a whole bunch of different things that you're going to learn the more you see it. That's why you got to see it. That's why I'm putting it here, because I want you to see it. I don't want you to be afraid of it. You could do it. It's not hard. You just got to, once you learn, example, what does it say right here? This word that I just circled. What does that say? What is this word right here?
Elohim.
Thank you. Okay. As soon as I take the vowel points out, let's get rid of all that. What does it say? Same thing. There's no difference. The vowel points are there so you can learn how to say it. Once you've learned how to say it, you don't ever have to worry about these dots. These dots and everything are here just to kind of get you to know how to say something. Once you learn what it looks like, I could get rid of this, and I can get rid of this, and I can get rid of this. And guess what I know? That's El, Lo. I know it in him right here, Elohim. I don't need this anymore. Why? And then I put the other one, Yar. I get it. Why Yar? Eth. Tell me how you say this. I'm going to get rid of that. How do you say this next word? This one right here. How do you say it? How what?
Hayor.
Haor. It's light. Haor. Wayar Elohim Eth Haor. I know this is a C and I know this is an I. So how do I say, if I was to put it in my mind this way, what I would say? This is a C and this is an I. How do I say it? Ki. 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 This is a T. This is a O. And this is a B, but it has a V sound because it doesn't have a dot in it. And without the dot, it gives you the V sound. So how do I say that?
Tov.
Tov. So you have to know your letters. You have to know your sounds. Okay. All right. So Vadel Elohim, vain, between the light and between the koshek. How you say this? I just circled.
Tov.
Good. What's it now?
Tov.
Tov, still Tov. Okay. This is called Bane. Bane. Look at it and call it what you see it. Just look at the letters and just say it. Bane. Everyone say it. Bane.
Bane.
Bane. Okay. How do you say that?
Haor.
Good. I'm going to give you this one right here. This one's called Y yar. Y yar. How do you say it?
YR.
Y yar. Well, how do you say the next word? Say that together.
YR.
YR Elohim.
Y yar Elohim. Good. How do you say this? This is eth. 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 How do you say that? How do you say number 2?
All together.
Yep.
Eth Hayor.
Thank you. How do you say this?
YR Elohim Eth Hayor.
Good. Say it again.
YR Elohim Eth Hayor.
Okay. Now that you got that, this is how I'm going to teach you. Now that you got that, you go to the next one. And what's that called? How do you say the first one? That's a CI. So how do you say that? And that's I is an it, like kit or kit, but it doesn't have a T and it doesn't have a P. It doesn't have any other letters. So it's ki. So how do you say this?
Kitov.
Ketov. Why you're say the red and then say that one.
YR Elohim It Tov.
Wayar Elohim eth haor kitov.
Yeah.
Okay. Wayar Elohim eth haor kitov. Okay. And so once you get that, once you learn how to do that, in your little blue book that I sent you, you should learn how to read. Reading is just for you the sake of saying it out loud. And the reason why you need to say it out loud, you say tov over and over, say it 7 times. Tov, 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 tov. Look at the word and say, when you look at the word good, write it on a piece of paper and look at it and look at the word good and call it tov. Tov, 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 tov. That's your new word for good. And then when you see tov, you'll be like, oh, that's a tet. That's a T sound. Oh, that's a O because the dot is over the Y. Oh, and that's a B, but it doesn't have the dot in it. So it's a V sound. So that's tov. So it's a few things that you're learning. You're learning, number one, how to read the letters. The second thing you're learning, okay, you're identifying those. Then once you identify the letters, you identify the sound. You put the sounds together to make the word. Then once you get the word, then you have to translate the word. And then all you're doing is you're translating into a language that other people can understand. If you know what tov means, that's all you care about. But if you're talking to somebody that like me, you and I would say tov me'od, that means that's very good. If I say boker tov, I'm saying good morning. So we started learning, this is only for us to talk to each other, okay? And so when I say something to you, when I say moadim, you'll be like, oh, I know what that is. I'll say tov, you know what that is. I'll say Elohim, you know what that says. I'll say yom. I'll write it in English so, you know, we can transliterate it, but I'd be able to look at a yom and go, okay, that's a Y, that's a O, and this right here is a final mem. That's yom. So I know yom is what? Because I already know what it sounds like. I've already heard it. Day. That's day. So when I say YR, that means I see, or he saw. Who? Elohim. What did he see? He saw the eth haor, kitov, that it was good. And he divided Elohim between the haor and the uvain hakoshek. So that's what you're learning. That's why you got to learn. That's why we're in Bereshith at the beginning. Because once you learn Bereshith and you go through it, you'll be able to pick up these words and be like, okay, I know what it is. And guess what? You know what's beautiful about everything? You're going to see this word a lot, and you're going to see this word. You're going to see this again. You're going to see this again. You're going to see haor again. You're going to see Elohim all through here. You're going to see YR again. You're going to see Elohim again. You might see Havdel a couple of different times. You're going to see Koshek maybe one or two more times. which in the first couple of verses, you're going to see it. So every time you read the scripture, he reinforces it again. Okay. There are all different types of ways to write out a Hebrew letter. Right here is what they call a square, or kind of like a block kind of look. Then you got a cursive look. Okay. Then you got some other fancy look, and then you got a print look. You got all kind of looks. Okay. So this right here is what you would call a kof. Okay. So you're going to see it in different styles. And again, the resh, you're going to see it in this way. You're going to see it in another way, And then the aleph, of course, has different styles. You'll see a cursive way, a more, elegant way. And then you have a block way. Then you might have just a straight, way like, without any kind of edges or nothing. You might just see it just like this, just like that, with no curve, See, you might see it in different ways. So kara means to read. Kwa, that's a Q sound. Kwa. This is a what sound? It's reverse. What sound is it? That's an R. Okay. And then you have the aleph. Okay. Which gives you a silent sound. Okay. So now, since I got these going this way, I'm just writing them out this way. Now your brain, for you to read it, you got to read it this way. So I got to switch it around and make it Q. And then I'm going to put an A underneath it. And then I'm going to put the next one, which is a R right here. And there you go. Okay. So what did I really say? How do I say that?
Qua.
Qua by itself. Qua. First one here. Qua is the first sound. The second sound is what?
Ra.
Thank you. So that little T sound right here that you see right here is a long ah. Ah. The next one underneath the just one here is equal to ah. It's a shorter ah. So you go qua ra, qua ra, qua ra. You got to get your mouth used to it as qua ra. Okay. So qua, when you read letter by letter. If there's a little vowel underneath here, you're going to say that by itself. That's the first thing you look at. Okay. First thing I said is, okay, what letter is this? Oh, that's a Q. What's the next thing I'm looking for? This. What is that? Oh, that's a ah. Okay, a long ah. Okay, what letter is this? Oh, that's a R. Okay, what's the sound underneath that? That's a ah too. And what's the aleph? Okay, that's silent. So I could just, don't say it. Okay. You see? So it's qua ra. Qua ra. Okay. Qua ra means to read and to proclaim. I use this picture here because these kids are reading. Okay. And then whenever they read with their eyes, they're going to proclaim. The Holy One of Israel commands Israel to call out and to proclaim his what? What does he tell us to do on a regular basis? What does he tell us to proclaim?
His name.
Yes, you can proclaim his name. Thank you. And also, too, you need to proclaim his Shabbats, to tell about it, proclaim it. He tells us your new moon. The new moon, you're supposed to proclaim it. You're supposed to proclaim the Moedim, which are the appointed times. Yes, and when you proclaim and you call out to his name. You proclaim his name. Praise be to the Holy One of Israel, Jared. Okay, so Quabra. Okay, now I'm going to do a little something right quick before we go anywhere. I'll put a yod in front of this. What did I just say?
He proclaimed.
He called. Yes, he proclaimed. He read. He called out. Good. I put a wall right there. What does that mean?
And he.
Yes, and he proclaimed. Yes. Okay. You understand? So if all I got to do is put letters onto the front And it'll tell you, if you know what this letter is, it'll be like, oh, that's an, oh, that's he. So it tells me now this is a verb. So now I know who's doing the action. Oh, he is. And then immediately after saying what the action is, it'll tell you who's doing the action. It'll tell you the subject of the noun. I mean, the verb. Who's the subject of the verb? Who's doing the action? And more than likely, it'll tell you Elohim, okay, or whoever's doing the action. It's just a puzzle. So once you learn the pieces, okay, a root like this by itself is a perfect. It means that I don't have to add anything to it, and it means he perfectly called out and read. That's what it means. When it's in 3 letters, it means he. Now, if I wanted to make it into a female, all I got to do is add a. Okay. And of course, these vowel points will change. We know it'd be kadra, kadra. Okay. Kara is he. Kadra is she. She called. So is it still perfect? Yes, it is. All I did was feminized it with a hey on the end. Okay. I add a feminine ending. So what I'm saying is, if you learn these 3-letter roots, like kadra, what's another one? Amar, that we learned. Okay. You learned Amar and you learned other ones. You will then be able to say, well, you put a yod in front of he said, and he said. You understand? If it's you want to say that she said perfectly, I would put the aleph, the mem, the resh, and then the hey on the end. Ma, amara. Here you go. That's what it looked like. Amara. Okay. It's still perfect. And it's a verb. So if you learn these roots, all you got to do is you're going to be able to add stuff to them. So what we're doing right now is we're building your root system. I'm putting this in you so you can add to it. There's no sense of talking about anything else until you learn the roots. So Hebraically, what does this mean? I kind of gave you a hint already, but it means an action of it is to call, and to call out what? They called out a meeting. It means a meeting. Meeting for what? I'll move this out the way. It's a meeting or an event. That's why Yah asks us to call out his Shabbats and all those types of things, because it's an event. And so the letter Kuf, okay, is a picture, which is this letter right here that is represented by that letter, okay? The Hebrew letter is this. This is the English letter, okay? Is a picture of the sun at horizon and its gathering of light. The Resh, which is represented by the English letter R, the Resh, again, is not a R like this, but a R like that, a reverse, is a picture of the head of a man. You combine these, it means to gather the men. So when did the men gather? The men generally gathered in the culture, okay, to have meetings, and it was a breeding together. And they usually would meet at the end of the day, okay? They would meet at the city gates, and generally they would meet when the sun was going down because the temperature was cooler. It was a cooler part of the day. So just right when the day was going, that's when they would have their meetings. They wouldn't be sitting in the hot sun. They would be sitting at the end of the day to talk about the things that have happened and the things they want to discuss. So when they go into the following day, okay, they would be able to, go with the information that they gather from the day that they met. So it's a time of meeting and a time of bringing together. And that's why the Moedims, the appointments, are what? They need to be proclaimed. Yah tells you to blow a shofar, blow a trumpet, to proclaim Yahweh's festivals, to proclaim his new moon, to proclaim the first day of the 7th month, and all these different types of things. So it's a gathering and bringing together people, objects by arrangement, okay, on accident or by purchase. Everything happens the way that it's supposed to. It's a bringing together. Just like the light is being gathered, the light is being gathered at the horizon at the end of the day, so are the people coming to meet at the end of the day. That's when they had their meetings. They didn't have their meetings at night. They only did it during the day. Okay, so listen to what it says. Better shift. Now we're in verse number 5. Okay, so now that we know what the word kara is, when we look at this, we know that Elohim, right? El, or our power, right? Elohim, we know that he kadra. He made a kadra. He's the first one who did it. So when he's calling, what did he do? He called a what? He called a meeting. And who did he call to? He called to something. He didn't just call it like naming it. Listen, he called to it. He spoke to it and said, let's meet. I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to let you know what it is. He called it. He proclaimed it. He proclaimed the light to be what? Come on, somebody. He proclaimed the light to be day.
Yom.
He called or what? What did he call or?
Yom.
He said it's Yom. It's not on, but it's Yom. That's what I'm going to proclaim. And if I proclaim that the light, that or is day, that's Yom, and I call Koshek something else, I say Koshek because it's not darkness, it's Koshek. Hikara, Yakara, he called that Lila. That's what he called that. So these are proclamations. Okay. So when someone tries to tell you that the day is night and the night is day, you can literally tell them the Holy One of Israel has made a proclamation. He didn't just call and say, okay, I'm just going to name you. It's literally like a meeting. He met and he called out to it. Like this, or day. He calls to Koshek. Look, you know, somebody say, hey, Koshek. Koshek. Lila. See, so there was evening and there was morning. One day, Akkad. He established the way that he wanted a day to consist of. That's why I always go over this, because sometimes we get lost because, you know, of what we've been taught. You know, we've been taught some bad stuff. Okay. Because not that someone intentionally did it in the sake of, and I'm talking about even in the walk that we're doing right now, what I'm saying is the people of Israel, once we come into this truth, we have all the best intentions to do what the Holy One of Israel has asked us to do. Okay. Let me see here. Let me share my screen. Okay. So now you can understand what he's talking about when you see this chart, can't you? You guys understand that? And there's all different types of signals when he meets with Israel and tells them what the day is and what the night is. You can clearly see there's a division. The division is the twilight. The division is right there when he says, let me make a division and Havdil. He Havdiled it with this in particular time space in the green, which is called a Rev. Okay. When Yah's told the children of Israel that I want to meet with you on the third day. And if day is the evening in the morning, that means that he had met with them, because this is the evening right here. And then they have to go through the night. And then they're back at another evening right here. So I asked you the question, which meeting time did he meet with them? If he says, Moshe, you go talk to him today, and then tell them to wash their clothes today and sanctify themselves, and tomorrow wash themselves. And then what time did Yah show up? Yah showed up on the what? On the third day. You understand? And the third day is this day right here in the morning. Okay, that's what happened. So there's another evidence that the morning, the evening in the morning. So the evening he's talking about is this one. Okay. Go back to this thing here. All right. So how do we say called?
Ra.
Qua. Okay.
Ra.
Ra. Okay. Sometimes you might see me put the Q and then the A, then the H just to kind of, spell it out a little bit longer, but it's qua ra. Okay. You could put the ra if you want to R-A-H, or you could put R-A-W, ra. Okay. But the qua is what we need to say. Okay. So that's what he did. He proclaimed the day by saying, you know what, or your day now. I'm calling out to you. Okay. And Koshek, I'm going to proclaim to you to be tonight. You're going to be Lila now. And so when he did that, he said, evening, there was evening and there was morning on Akkad. What's interesting, he doesn't say that it's Rishon. He doesn't say it's the first day. Number one is talks about in order of they're cardinal numbers, and then there's ordinal numbers. Rishon is saying the first. Akkad means one, day one. It's a little different. So one's an ordinal number and one is a cardinal number. You can look this up for yourself when you get some time. Numbers come in series of 1, 2, 3 in order, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Those are the orders. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. That's the order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Order. Okay. That's why they call it an ordinal number, in order. Then they have a cardinal number. Meaning, like if I say 3 in ordinal, it would be Shalishi. If I say 3 in cardinal and in a cardinal number, it wouldn't be Shalishi. It'd be Shalosh. Okay. So one's cardinal and one's ordinal. This means I have 3 of something. Okay. So what Yah is saying here is what? I've made day 1. This is Akkad. This is not Rishon. This is Akkad. Okay. And guess what? We know what Akkad means. Akkad means to be unified, unity. Okay. How do I know this? Well, the first letter of the Akkad is an Aleph, which represents what? What does Aleph mean? Give me the image.
Ox.
There you go. Ox head. Ox head represents what?
Strength.
Strength. Okay. So now we got an ox that's very strong, right? So we take strength and strong from that, right? The CH right here, right, is what we would call a ket. And a ket represents a wall. Okay. And a wall is used for what? Separation, and to what? And to divide, to keep the outside from the inside and the inside from the outside. Okay. So far we got a strong wall. Okay. Then we got the dalet. Okay. The dalet is the door. Okay. It's the door. So what he's saying is, I'm keeping that which is separated by a wall, that the only way you can get in is through the door. That's the beginning of my day, is going through a door. And if you're going to go to this door, right? If you go through this door, it's going to invite you to the other days. Every other day that Yah mentions, okay, it's like a package. Like he goes Akkad as a cardinal number, and then every other day after that, he calls it an ordinal number. You see? So you got to ask yourself, well, why didn't he say Rishon? Why didn't he say this is the first day? Why did he say this is day Akkad? Because he's establishing this day, this in particular day, as the day that opens up for the rest of the week. This is the beginning of everything that he's going to do. So when he goes to day number 2, the second time that he does this, which is day number 2, he calls it Yom Shani. He doesn't call it Yom Shana. He calls it Yom Shani, which is an ordinal number. Okay. Here you go. Somebody tell me What is the wa? And come on.
And he.
And he what?
Quara.
Kara, which is he, yes, he proclaimed and called out. Who did it? Elohim.
Elohim.
What did he call out to? Because here it is now. This is a lamed, okay, and is used as a preposition. So the lamed is a shepherd staff, which that's why it's called the letter L, and L means to lead, or it means leader, or it means leadership. And it also means to teach and also sorts of other things, okay? But he's using here as a preposition because usually when you use a shepherd staff, you use it to take someone to somewhere or for something. You can use it to or for. That's why they use the letter lamed for a preposition, meaning positional, for or to or for. So it says, and he kadra Elohim to. He called to it. He called to what? Who did he call to? Who did he proclaim? He proclaimed something to something. He proclaimed when he called and proclaimed Elohim to what? Here's your word. What is that? What word is that?
Or.
Or. So he taught, he called out to, he proclaimed to light. Okay. And he called it and he said, I'm gonna rename you, I'm gonna call you out light. He says, Yom. Okay. So what I want you to see here is that when Yah created everything, he just didn't only go through the fact of creating it, he actually goes through a process of calling out to it. So the first one is Badra Elohim. The first thing he created was light, bara, meaning created, the Hashamayim and the Uvaretz. And Yahweh saw, right, the light. And when he saw it, he looked at it, right, in its appearance, and he saw it, what we couldn't see, and he said, why yikra, okay, yeah, why yikra, and he called Elohim to, why, because he saw it was good. So then he said, after I saw it was good, then he names it. Then he proclaims it to be something, you see? So he creates it first, and then he proclaims something about it. So the proclamation is that he's making a proclamation to the light. And he's telling the light, Yom. And then, and to Koshek Kara. You see, it doesn't have anything on the front, nothing on the end. And clean it all up for you so you can see it and put it in a different color. Do you see right here that there's no yod? There's no wa? Because this is what? When it's three letters like this, is it perfect or imperfect?
Perfect.
It's perfect. And it's perfect because when it's in a perfect state, in a perfect form, because it's three letters like that in some action, it's he automatically. Okay. Okay. So, and he continuing, and means I'm going to continue what I've been saying. So anytime you see a Y, it means and, it means I'm continuing, I'm adding to this. There's over 50,000 Wa's in the Holy Scriptures. So if you take the Y out, everything falls apart because it's a way for you to know how things continue. So he continues and says Elohim to or Yom. Then he says, and to Koshek, he called perfectly Lila. This is the name of one of your female friends. Call her what her name is. Her name is Lila. And Lila means in English night. That's why when you see Koshek, you're not really talking about Lila. You really understand that Lila, her real essence is Koshek. You know that when you say Yom, you know Yom is really or. That's why you don't get confused. You don't blend the two. You keep everything separate and you proclaim the same thing that he proclaimed. This is the reason why he wants you to know it. So when you say something, you won't be saying something that he didn't say. As I had in my lesson today, if you and I bear his name and we go around and we say that the Yom is light and darkness, and that Yom, the day begins in the dark, you're making a false claim. Because he proclaimed it, Elohim, that to the light, that you're Yom. He proclaimed, and he called and proclaimed to darkness. He said, your name is Lila. You're Lila. That's what you are. Okay. So these people, individuals, should be part of your family now. I got a friend named Yom. I got a friend named Lila, and I know who they are. Okay. And then it says, why he? And he existed. A rev. And existed. Boker. What's Boker? Or Boquer. What's Boquer? Boquer. What's Boquer?
Morning.
Morning. Praise the Holy One of Israel. Okay. Yom Echad. Day 1. Not the first day. He said Yom Echad, meaning that this is the strong wall with a door in it. Okay. Once you go through Yom Echad, you're going into Shani, Shalishi, Ravi'i, Kamishi, Shishi, and boom, it stops in Yom Shavi'i. Okay. And I'm going to call Yom Shavi'i, the 7th day, another name. I'm going to proclaim that name. Okay. This letter that you see right here is what you will call a pei. In the Hebrew scriptures, they use this letter to indicate an opening. Pei, what means what in Hebrew? What is a pei? What does this letter represent in Hebrew? Pei.
Mouth.
Thank you. So the way you can remember this for the mouth is, I'm sorry, my internet's kind of slow, is that you look right here, here's the opening. Just remember that's a mouth, okay? So the pei is used there, but they're using this to say, okay, now that I've said what I had to say, I'm going to literally end what I just said about this. And now I'm going to open to another teaching. So this right here, verses 1 through 5 is one teaching. It's one teaching. That's what it is. And that's why the focus, once you get to this in particular letter right here, it says we're about to change the subject and I'm going to open up another teaching. And so when you see that in the Hebrew scrolls, and that's represented by what they would call a space, it's called a patak. Okay. It's called a patak, and it means to open. Okay. And to open means to open your mouth. Okay. And what Yah says, if you open your mouth, I will do what? Somebody tell me. You open your mouth, I will what?
Feel it.
I'll feel it. See? So now you and I understand what Yom is. We understand that it's a day. We understand what's associated with day, which is the what? The light. Okay, I'm going to meet you on the 3rd day. And in the morning, Yah showed up in the morning. You need to pick up the manna for 6 days. When you go out on the 7th day, it won't be there. They went out the 7th day in the morning and there was nothing there because that's the 7th day. So when you see this sky, understand it's Yom. Okay. Why is it Yom? Because this letter right here is a Y. What's the next one? Oh, there's a Y with a dot over it. So that's O. What's the next one? Oh, that's a final mem. Looks a little different. That's Yom. Okay. And you'll get used to these letters and what they look like. This is just a nice little, up-to-date modern style. Okay. It's day. That's why I put this picture here too. So you can always remember that Yom is the day. Where does it come from? Here, the letter Yom, which is the Yod, and then the Mem. Okay, the final Mem, if I reverse it, is a Yod, and then the Mem. Yod is a picture of a hand. Okay, that's what it's a picture of, a hand. Okay, representing work, because that's what you do with your hands. Okay, but I skipped and forgot to tell you that concretely it means a sea, and the abstract is terror, and they're going to tell us why they chose this to mean that. The mem is a picture of what? Water. So anytime you see the picture of the mem, it would be like water waves. That's what an ancient looks like. So this is an ancient picture of the hand. This is an ancient picture of the mem. Okay. You combine these, it means working water, working water. So the sea or other large body of water is the place of storms and heavy surf. And what it was is that it was a place of terror because they didn't know what was inside the water. When you got a large body of water, they didn't know. The Hebrew culture people were afraid of water because it was an unknown. That's why when you have the word ma, yim, the first part of that is ma, and ma in Hebrew is a question mark, meaning what is it? Which you have your word ma, who, like the manna. That's what they name manna. That's the real name of manna is manhu, mahu. So mahu means what is it? You're always asking because they didn't know what is it, what's in it, what is it? So instead of using a question mark, they use the word ma. See, because it's unknown. So they're using agricultural terms to express questions and stuff like that. Okay. So it means a sea. Also, yom, because yom represents not only yom, yom is what? What does yom mean?
Day.
Day.
Day. There's a word called yom. What does yom mean?
See,
There you go. You see? And the reason why is because it's also the direction of the sea, and which is in the west. And so what happens in the west? At the end of the day, what happens? The sun goes down
The
where?
sun sets in the
The
west.
sun goes down in the west. See? So now this is another confirmation. So the sea is yom and the day is yom. So yom and yom. Okay. And you can remember that it means sea because it has to do with the west. And that's where the sun goes down. You see how it's all agriculture? It has to do with what you see, live with your eyes. It has to do with water. It has to do with the day. It has to do with light. It has to do with all these things. So therefore, Elohim, what's this word in Hebrew?
Quara.
Thank you. Qua, ra, qua, what? Ha. What's the next one?
Or
Uh-huh. And this one here. What's this?
yum,
Yum.
Okay, so I want you to read that now. Read from here all the way to here. What does it say?
Elohim, Kara, Ha-Or, Yum.
Yum.
You're reading Hebrew. That's all. But you just looked at English and knew exactly how to read it. You see? Elohim Kara Ha Or Yom. That's what he called it. He proclaimed the or day. Boom, your light, your day. And okay, and it means and. So what we say? Wa? Wa what? Waha? What's this one? Koshek. Okay. And put a yod here. So he's I'll say Yah. Yah what?
Quara.
Kara. What? How do you say? You remember my friend? What's her name?
Lila.
Her name is Lila. Thank you. Okay. So we got Wa Hakoshek Yakara Lila. You see? And so, and then more than likely, this is going to be Ki. There existed Haya, a Rev, Wa, and this is probably Wahi. The Wahi, Boker or Boquer, Ekad. What? What's this one?
Yom.
Thank you. You see? That's how all it is you're taking the time, and you don't have to blast through all of it and say, well, you know what? I need to read the whole chapter in this. No, I need to read a couple of verses. That's all. That's how it all begins. You don't have to get overwhelmed. If you stay with one verse, we've been in verse number 5, and all of a sudden now you guys understand it. And why do you understand it? Because I'm telling you what these in particular roots are. You know what Koshek is now. You know what Kara is. You see it once, twice. Now they introduced Lila to you. You already know what Ki and there existed was Haya. Haya means to exist. And Arev, Wa. That's all you got to say for an is Wa. That's it. Because you know it means this is the letter and that's the sound, Wa. And there existed Wahi and Wahi. What? Bo, Queer. And what? One, Akkad. Not Rishon, Akkad what? Yom. Period. Now we understand what the first day consists of. We understand what was called out. We understand who was named. We understand. Okay. Man, you guys should feel good about what you're doing. Okay. There it is. Wayikra Elohim Laor Yom. Wala Koshek Kadra Laila Wahi Adrev Wahi Voquer Yom Akkad. See? So once you learn those things, and look, all you have to do is diagnose the word, break the word down. And he Kara, what? Elohim, you already got that down. You don't even have to look at nothing else. And then the next one you say, oh, I got the shepherd staff. That means 2 or 4. Okay. So in your mind, you go, is it 4 or 2? Did he call 2 the light or did he call 4 light? He could call 2 it, he could call 4 it. What? He's using the staff. Why? So let me ask you a question since we're getting this way. Since he used the staff, somebody tell me why he's using a staff. And what does he want us to know about the staff? Why is he using the lament?
For authority.
His authority, and he's telling it what it's going to be and where to go. So when the sun comes up in the way that it comes up, and when it's told to go down, it's because he put the staff on it. And what's in his name? The strong one, the strong authority, the power of powers. There's a staff. The strong staff is right here. Strong staff. The power of the strong staff. He's the one of great authority. That's the reason why he's using the lamed. It's not just for a grammatical word for 2 or 4. We're not, you know what I'm saying? We're looking at words like why, and, man, what, tent peg. So literally he took the tent peg in his hand and he proclaimed Elohim with the staff and guided the light and called it to the day and sent it to where it needed to go. And he took what? He took the staff in his hand and guided Koshek and told Koshek where she was going to go. And I'm going to send you over to this place called night. I'm going to proclaim what it is. And it will exist, Arev and Wahi Voker. I'm calling. Now listen, I not only call, I'm letting you know what the day is, and I'm letting you know what the division of it is. I'm telling you that the morning existed, but what existed before the morning? This means exist. Existed the Erev. Which one? Again, I always ask you which one, because you got to know when he did it. Remember, it's about let me see here. The Arev is there to make a division. Okay, so here it is again. I asked you the question, which Arev did he say is the first? He mentioned Arev, which is this one right here, and then he says the morning. But we know that the morning consists of all this daylight because that's the light. When he says that Arev mentioned, he says evening and morning. He's not talking about this one at twilight over on this side. He's talking about this one. Okay. He's talking about when it began. Okay. It's a transition time. He's not including night. Night has been separated from the day. Okay. And these right here are the markers of separation. This is the dividers right here. To keep what? Why are they there? Somebody tell me. Why are those there? Why did he put twilights on both ends?
For the transition. of
The
time.
transition, but also to make a what?
Division.
Make a division. Thank you. I need to make a division and I need to make a distinction between these two times. Because I made a proclamation. And when you and I try to invite this into this and say that it's a 24-hour day, then we're in trouble. When you're trying to say that, you know, I'm going to go ahead and you're going to worship me in this time, you got a problem because I never did that. I never told you that. I never did anything. I never created anything during the evening. I mean, excuse me, during the night. I never created anything from this time. Never. I never did anything in the dark, and neither should you. Okay. You guys with me? Does that make sense? It has to make sense. Yeah, it has to make sense. Okay. So I want to end on Lila. This is our last word for the evening because my son is about to go down here. You're probably already dark. You're probably already in Lila. I chose this picture because I love it. It's just beautiful. It's very majestic to me. It's very beautiful. I like the pillars, the lights. But what you see in the sky is complete darkness. You see Koshek. Anytime you see darkness, it's Koshek, but he says, I want to give you a name. I want to call out to you. Okay. So when we see it, we're supposed to proclaim it for what it really is, just like he did. This is the reason why he had Moshe tell the children of Israel to write these things down. Okay. And to let them know and to teach it to their children, because he knew that along the way, we were going to go and we were going to start saying stuff that we were taught from the people around us, which is a problem. Okay. Lila. Two laments. Okay. That's what these two letters are right here to represent. These two L's are really two laments. It means to howl like a wolf. Okay. And it means night. When the night comes, the night sky is rolled out like a scroll. Okay. When the daylight comes, the night sky is rolled up like a scroll. So the light like reveals everything. And when you go into darkness, it is rolled out like a scroll where there's nothing on it. Okay. There's nothing. Okay. It's like a scroll being rolled up and down like a shade. Okay. So Yah is making a clear distinction between, you never howl. You never hear these animals howling in the day. You only hear them howling at night. Tehillim, which is Psalms 19, gives us some information about that. That's where we find that at different times, things happen. Like in Psalms 104, Psalms 119, he says the sun knows its circuits. It knows when to come. Everyone, the skies or even the stars and everything are speaking. It's proclaiming. So even when there's darkness, there's still proclamations being made. Okay. Because Yahweh said for her, Lila, to make her proclamations. She can't make her proclamations and do her guarding if the sun is trying to be involved. Everybody has their job and they have a Torah to follow. Okay. So Elohim Kala. And who did he call the Yom? He called Orion. And two, not just the, into La Koshek. He what? Kala what? How do you say night? How do you say night?
Lila.
Lila. That's our new friend. That's her name. This is another one of your associates. You guys got a friend named Lila? Call her Lila. Hey, Lila. Okay. That's what I do. I make these words my friends. So when if I like them, I'll remember them. If I don't like them, I don't even like the way their name sounds, I don't even bother with them that much. Because I'm not going to say that. That's the reason why you need to learn these, because they're always going to be part of your life. There's other words that you might say one, there's only some words, that are mentioned like maybe 2 or 3 times in the whole entire text. I don't spend my time worrying about those in particular individuals, because either they're a male or a female. So either I'm going to involve them in my life or I'm not. They're not that important to me at that point. I only talk to them when I have to. Okay. The ones that I do talk to and I do understand and have a relationship with is Yom or Koshek, Lila. Okay. Wayikra, Kara, Elohim. Okay. And so once it becomes personal for you, you'll be able to call it. You'll be able to know what it is. And then you'll be like, oh, I know what that is. And then when someone says about someone saying something, say, oh, that's not really calling out. Oh, that's different. That's saying something. So, oh, that's a mar. Oh, speaking is different than saying. Okay, one is putting words together and the other one's just a thing or a place or whatever. So that's Devar. Oh, okay. And so you begin to develop this relationship with the roots of these families because this Hebrew language is a family of letters. And so each family has their own roots. You know, there's the Aleph, the Bet, the Gimel, the Dalet, the Hay. They all have children. They all have family. They always have people. And you can always, make them part of your, vocabulary if you want, if you don't. But I'm trying to teach you the ones that you're going to say all the time. Okay. Elohim called or what? What do you call or? What do you call?
Yom.
Light.
Yom. And to the Koshek, what did he call? Lila. Okay. And it was Haya, right? The evening, and there was morning, and there was Wakad. So that happened. Wayikra Elohim de la Or, Yom, and the Walo Koshek the Kaldra, the Lila, and the Wahil Rev, and the Wahil Oker, Yom the Akad. See, there's not no big deal. You guys can do that. Oh, I thought it was over. Since we mentioned, no, we got to stop. I'm going to stop. You know what a Rev looks like. A Rev is the color changing with the guard. A Rev. There's two of them. Dark, raven. That's what it means. Dark, raven. It's as the evening, to be dark as the evening sky. Is changing. It's going dark. Okay. And I asked the question, how many evenings are there? And the answer is there's two. Like I've been showing you, there's two of them. Okay. And then it says you are to keep it until the 14th day of the month. And then the entire assembly of the community of Israel will slaughter it at dusk, which is the evening. And they have it there as a dual plural, evening. So which one is he talking about? He's letting you know that you got it on the 14th day. So you got it when the light was out. But then when the evening comes, at the end of that in particular day, you're going to slaughter this lamb. Okay. Here it is. Wahai de lakim de la mishmoreth, the arabayim. The arabayim right here. Is the 14th asar, the 10th. This is the 14th day, yom. And what? You see the word again? See our word called koshek? And we're already in Exodus. And they're mentioning the same words that you know. Wahaya, you know that word. You know the word yom right here. You know the word lakoshek right here. You know what ed is. I told you what that is. You know with Yisrael right here. Here's your word bain. And then here ha ar bayim. Dual plural. There's two of them. So again, that confirms that you're going to see a lot of the words that you're going to learn in other parts of the Torah. They're all over the place. You're always going to see yom. You're always going to see lala koshek. Then you're going to learn what this is. Hazeh, this. And then you're going to go, it was shekatu. You're going to cut it and slit his throat. Otho, it. On what? And all the assembly, the kol hakal, or the kohel, adopt the assembly, the congregation of Israel. And you know what Bain is. Between what? Ha-avorim. Okay. Between these two particular times. Between the ha-ar-bayim. Between the two arabs. And then you'll be like, okay, I know what that is. All right. And then that's how I've discovered, like, okay, there's two of them. So it's a dual plural. And how do we know it's a dual plural? We know it's a dual plural because of the way that it is voweled. And we'll get into that later. Okay. Because this is plural right here. Right. But the dual plural consists of a voweling point like this, it always have this. It'll look like that. It'll be this mark right here, and it'll be right here. So what are some other dual plurals before we go? How many hands do you have?
2.
So that's a dual plural. They're exactly the same. How many eyes do you have?
2
Okay, give me another dual plural on your body.
ears,
Thank you.
Feet.
Feet, thank you. Okay, there's other duals. Okay, we don't want to go into.
She said ears, huh?
There's other duals that males have and females have. There's other duals that you have. Okay, Shadim and Zerah, right? So, and here it is, Elohim Kara to the Laor Yom and La the Koshek Kara Laila, and so there was Ki Evrev, and there existed Wahaya Voker, or the Wahi Voker Ekad Yom. Okay, there it is. Perfect. So then I go into talking about which evening is Elohim referring to as part of the completion of the day. And I go ahead and I brought it in to show you again. Okay. Completion. Okay. And that's it. And then we'll do Voker later. We'll get next time. We'll come back and we'll talk about Voker. We'll talk about the morning. Hope you guys had this is beneficial to you. I was able to, give you some more insight on not only how to understand the language and how to dissect the words and the letters and how to you can write them out. Go to BibleHub.com, go to Genesis chapter 1, verse number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just start writing those letters and practice it. Oh, that's an aleph. Okay. Well, what about this? And you just kind of break it out. You can cheat. They have the letters, the English letters right above them. So you can just match them up. Just match them up and say, oh, I want to see what that looks like. I want to see what that's like. I want to, do it that way. And that's how I learned. And that's how I, taught myself is through that. And I know that you could do the same. Okay. Anything, you go right here. Can you see my screen? So, say this one right here. You go, oh, okay, well, what is this? Okay, this says Haze. Okay, so which part is the H? Oh, okay, that's the hey. All right, so that goes right here. Okay, where's the ah? Oh, that's this one right here, that right there. Ah, so I'm gonna stop right there and go ha, ha. Okay, and then they got the Z. Oh, okay, so there's a Z right here, and there's another Z. Oh, that means there's two of them. So that little dot means that there's two. Oh, okay. So I'll make a Haz, and then I'll make a Zay. And what's the eh? Oh, here's the eh right here, these three dots. There you go. How do I say it? Haz, Zay, Haze. Oh, this is ah, and this is share. Oh, ah, share. Okay. The dot is over here. So that's an HA sound that I remember from my blue book. Oh, and this is a R. So that has to be this one. Oh, so anytime I see the S with this marker right here that's pointing down, that's the SH sound. Okay. Go to the next one. Oh, that's an aleph in the top. Oh, there's two T's. Oh, could it be this dot in the center? Yeah, just like the dot that was over here on this Z right here, which is a Zion. This is the top. Ta. Oh, ata. Ata means you. It's a pronoun. And ata is a second person masculine singular. Oh, I get it. What is this pronoun, relative pronoun? What is this art? What's this article? Oh, the article must be the first letter right here. H, because that's a pointing direction, a direction marker. Definite article. Oh, ha. Okay. But since now it has another part on a Z, that lets me know that I'm going to say ha ze. You can look at it and you can evaluate it. What is that V? Oh, that's a verb. Well, what is that qual? That qual right there is a simple way. Oh, it's a participle. Let me look at that. How do I find out about the participle? Okay, I can find about the participle by simply clicking on this, and it will show me what part of speech it is. Oh, it's Hebrew parsing. So I'll go to the side and I'll say, okay, let me see. there's perfect, there's imperfect. So every time I see a PRF, then I'm talking about a perfect deal. If that's written underneath it. Oh, if I see it imperfect, that means it's imperfect. Oh, if I see that it's conjunctive perfect, then that would be underneath. Okay, so what am I looking for? I'm looking for the participle. I'm thinking what that is. So what's a participle? Participle, participle, participle. Ah, here's the participle right here. That PRTCPLE PL right here is a participle. Okay, so let me go on Google and go find out what a participle is. Oh, this is IMP. It's an imperative. Well, what is that? Oh, it's a part of speech from the verbs. So it's telling me that it's actual command. It can be a first person, second person, third person. Oh, my gender's right here. Okay, I know that we got male and female, so that's good. Masculine, feminine. Oh, number, meaning how many people? Is it singular, S, or a P? So when I see a S, I know it's singular, and I see a P, I know it's plural. So then I got to find out what these things mean. And then I got to find out what these things mean. Then I got to find, you know what I'm saying? And so when you look at these things, you know, you go like, okay, I got a lot of work to do. And you get kind of discouraged. But let me tell you, once you learn what the cohortive is, you know, it's a command or desire. You know that adjussive is the same thing. It just depends on who you're saying it to. You know that a hifel is something that's causative, that's active. You know, a hofel is something that's causative, that's passive. You know, a PL is very forceful. You know, a pual is forceful too, but this is passive and this one's active. That's active, that's passive. You know that the hithpael is reflexive. It's something someone's doing on themselves. A nafal is passive. And then a call pass is passive. So you'll be like, okay, I know who's doing it and how the action, how it's being done. That's how I know. And again, as I told you, first person, second person, third person. It's always going to be this. Like I told you at the beginning of the class, this is the key ingredient. Once you know these things, you'll be like, okay, when I look at a word, I'm looking, what is it? First person? Is it second person? Is it third person? Is it masculine? Is it feminine? Is it common? I'm looking for all my pieces. Is it singular or plural? And the letters will tell you if it's all these different things, okay? And then once you get that done, then you'll be able to go to the next step. That's how you do it. So you're going to spend a little bit of time. I would say spend about 10 or 15 minutes a day and like really put a timer on and be like, okay, I'm going to do verse number, 1. And I'm going to spend my time at verse number 1. I'm going to go right to where we've been talking about. I'm going right there to Genesis, or what they call Bereshith. And I'm going to go to verse number 1, and I'm going to study that. I'm going to say it over and over again. I'm going to start right here. Bereshith. Bereshith bara Elohim let hashamayim. Where's the hash at? How did they come up with the hash? Why are there 2 S's right here? Oh, because there's a dot in it. That's a geminate. So those are the questions you need to ask me when we come to class. Okay? That's what you need to ask me. You ask me, well, where's the O here? Where's the Elohim? Figure it out. There's the O right here, the little dot right here next to the Lamed. You're going to say, well, what is all these other little marks underneath here? And some of them mean something that you need to worry about, and other times they don't. What's this comma right here? That's for cancellations if you're going to be singing it. Okay, so they put these things in here. Okay, but you can find out what you need. Ha, aretz, right here. Ha, aretz. They put R-E-S, but it's really a tss sound. Ha-a-retz. Ha-a-retz. Not res. Ha-a-retz. Like rats. Okay, so once you know your Hebrew letters, and you ask yourself, what letter is this? You go find it. I know this is a R, which is a resh. I know it's an aleph, and I know it's a hey. Once you get that down, you're fine. I know this is a Y. I know this is aleph. I know this is a tav. I know that. I know this is a wa. I know this is a hey. I know this is an aleph. I know this is a resh. And I know this is a zadi. You see? And that's how you get it. So you're going to have to put some work in. And once you start getting it, you'll be good. So right now, you have several words in your vocabulary now that you can use, because we're all the way down in verse number 5. Okay, we're already there. Voquare right here. You're already there. Akkad, same thing. You're already there. Now you can read this. Now, go ahead. Somebody read it from verse number 5 for me. And you can cheat if you like to, because I want you to. I want you to read up here. Read that stuff. And then when you then go back and when you're at home and you're on your time, then you go ahead and say, okay, well, if I look at this, how did I say that? So how do you say the first word right here?
Vayikra,
Yes. Why you could or what?
Elohim,
Uh-huh.
Laor,
Yes.
Yom,
Yeah.
Wela Hakshek,
Wala ko. Yeah. Wala koshek. Koshek, because koshek is darkness. Yes.
Wela Koshek,
Uh-huh.
Hara,
Yes. Who's your girlfriend?
Lila.
Lila. You see? Now you just read it. And once you understand what Kara is, and you know that, oh, it's her proclamation. So Yahweh's not just calling something, he's leading something. He's using the shepherd staff. So it gives you a little bit more deeper meaning to what he's doing. So you're just not a regular English reader. And so you're like, oh, he's using the staff. Oh, the powerful one. Oh, I see him directing the light. He directed the light to this in particular time and said, "Here now I'm gonna call to you, Yom." So anytime Yah was dealing with light, he's talking about the Yom. Anytime he mentions Yom, he's talking about the light. So if he tells you to keep the Shabbat, what is he telling you? You better keep the Shabbat, because the Shabbat is a time of light. It's the time. Because when Yah said he looked at everything that he made, oh, come on, somebody follow me. When Yah said at the end of everything he made on the Yom Shabbat, what did he do? What did he do on Shabbat?
He rested.
Yeah, but what else did he do? After he finished making everything, what did he do?
He said it was good.
Yep. And how did he see that? Did he see that? Did he say that? How did he come to that conclusion?
He saw it.
Yes, because every time he saw something, he would name it. He said, oh, that's good. He never called darkness good. He never said darkness is good. He said light was good. He saw the light and he told, he said it's good. So when Yah, after on the Shabbat, he said after everything he made, he rested. But guess what he also did? He looked at everything he made. Did he do it in the darkness?
No.
No. The only thing that he ever set in the darkness was the moon and stars to give it light. That's it. He made that for that. He didn't want to leave it out. See how he's merciful? So everything he made, when he made the fish and all that, did he see it in the dark, or did he see it in the light, in his fullness, and his beauty, and his perfection? That's why the Shabbat is a daytime event, because if you look at chapter number 92 of Psalms 92, Tehillim, you will see that he says, I look at all the works that you've made. With your hands. I rejoice in what you've made. You see? I rejoice in what you made. That's the reason why you keep the Shabbat. Okay? And of course, there's some memorials where you have to go through a 24-hour period. Those times are times of vigils and mourning and grieving and affliction. Okay? So what does he say? He says this. A song for Shabbat. It is good to give thanks to Yahweh and sing praises to your name. To tell it in the morning about your grace and at night about your faithfulness. To the music of a 10-stringed harp and the lute and the melody and the sounding of the lyre, for Yahweh, what you do makes me happy. I take joy in what your hands have made. How great are your deeds, Yahweh. How very deep your thoughts. Stupid people can't know. Fools don't understand. When the wicked sprout like grass and all who do evil prosper, it is so that they can be eternally destroyed. Why you, Yahweh, are exalted forever. Anyway, he goes on to talk about these different things. Okay. To rejoice and to take time to look at everything that Yahweh has made. Hallelujah. Praise be to the Holy One of Israel. With that being said, I enjoyed you guys today on class, and hope this was inspirational to you. And I show you that it's not hard. It's not hard for you to learn how to do Hebrew. It's not hard. It just takes time, and that's why you're here. And if you stick with it, I guarantee you, just in a few short weeks, you're going to have a vocabulary and you have a better understanding. And the more you familiarize yourself with it during the week, you got to keep it in front of you. That's one of the things I do want to tell you. You want to keep this in front of you. So every day, go to Genesis and read one verse and try to decipher it, and then go to the next day. And then every day, at the end of the day, in the end of the week, you'd have several words that you've learned. And then you write it down, and you write it down. If you have any questions, you ask me, and I'll tell you, and we'll solve whatever the problems are. And then you'll be asking questions. And when you do that, you're increasing your wisdom, your knowledge, and your understanding. Okay.